Our story today continues with Daniel. Yesterday, Daniel made a promise. For the first time in years, he didn't hit the snooze button. He exercised, he read, he worked on his dream, and when he went to bed, he smiled, because he had finally begun. But today is Tuesday. His body hurts. The excitement has faded. The mirror looks exactly the same. His dream still feels just as far away. A small voice whispers, "See? Nothing changed." On his way home from work, Daniel stopped by the neighborhood nursery. He wasn't planning to buy anything. He just wanted to walk, to think, to escape the noise inside his own head. As he walked through the rows of flowers, he noticed an old gardener, carefully watering a tiny green plant. It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't tall. It barely stood above the soil. Daniel couldn't help but ask, "How long before that becomes something worth looking at?" The old man smiled, then handed Daniel the watering can. "Water it?" Daniel looked confused. "Why?" The gardener simply repeated, "Water it." Daniel poured a little water onto the soil. The gardener thanked him, then said, "Come back next week." A week later, Daniel returned. The plant was only a little taller. Not enough for most people to notice, but enough for someone who had been paying attention. The gardener smiled. "Disappointed?" Daniel shrugged. "I guess I expected more." The old man nodded. "That's the problem with this generation. Everyone wants tomorrow's tree, but nobody wants today's watering." Then he knelt beside the little plant. "Every morning, this plant asks me the same question. Will you believe in me before I become impressive?" Daniel stood there in silence, because he realized he had been asking himself the same question. Every morning, his dream whispered, "Will you keep showing up?" Before anyone notices, the gardener continued, "Do you know why most people fail? Not because they chose the wrong dream, because they stop watering. The moment they don't see immediate growth. Imagine watering this plant on Monday, then digging it up on Tuesday, just to check if the roots are growing. You wouldn't help it. You would kill it." Those words stayed with Daniel. The next morning, his alarm rang again. This time, he didn't ask, "Do I feel motivated?" Instead, he asked, "How do I water my future today?" So he exercised again. He read another chapter. He worked another hour. Nothing extraordinary happened. No promotion. No miracle. No overnight success. But when he looked back, at the end of the month, he noticed something incredible. His workouts felt easier. His mind was clearer. He had finished an entire book. His confidence was quietly growing. The changes were small, but they were undeniable. 2 months later, friends began asking, "Have you been working out? You seem different. You look happier. You seem more confident." Daniel smiled, because they were seeing the leaves. They had no idea how many mornings had gone into growing the roots. That's how success works. It doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives so quietly that you almost miss it. One better decision, one extra page, one more workout, one more promise kept, until one day you look in the mirror and realize you're no longer becoming that person. You have become that person. So if yesterday you planted the seed, don't expect a forest today. Just water it again. And tomorrow, water it again. Because the person who keeps watering always has one advantage over the person who quits. Every single day, they become someone stronger than they were yesterday. And if you become stronger every day, even by the smallest amount, how could you possibly lose? One day, people will admire the tree, but you'll remember that everything began with a tiny seed and an ordinary Tuesday when you decided to keep watering. This is mindset, because your greatest battle is inside yourself.